Hello everyone, this is CrissCrossKitty, and this is just a small extra video on the side. The game I've been playing has been a space for the Unbound, and in the game there is an arcade game you have to play. It's a fighting game, and there's true trophies tied to it. One of them is to get the score of 1500 or more. I thought it was 1600, but according to the trophy guide it says achieve a high score of 1500 or more in future fighter. So you have to beat 15 fighters. I thought you had to get like higher than the highest score. But anyway, I did get that. Maybe the high score is actually 1400. So maybe 1500 is what you have to get. It doesn't matter because I've already continued past that. But the other trophy was to get 1700 as a score. And that's you have to get that for the other trophy, but that's not for any bucket list or anything. Anyways, I don't know if anyone wants to watch this, but I did go back and finish the fight, and I recorded it on my YouTube, or I recorded it on my PlayStation. That is to say, I just kept playing the game, and once I beat that score, then I pushed the record, capture on my PlayStation controller, and it captured the last, 15 minutes. And then I went to my OBS, put it in there, and recorded it as a video. So if anyone is interested, this is going to be me as I did the fight. And yeah, make any commentary. I don't know if I really need to make commentary, but I'm just here to show, I don't know, moral support for my past self. These kind of games where you have to do button prompts like this, I am not good at. It's like, if I know what the prompts are, then I can get them, but I am not good at responding quickly to prompts that are on the screen. I mean, anytime it's like I freeze up for a second, especially when I'm not expecting them. I guess that's generally kind of normal, but there's people that are better at it than others, obviously. If you're playing Guitar Hero, I mean, that's all there is prompts. I have a feeling I would be very bad at that. But even at the beginning parts where there's only 5 or 4, I'll sit there and go, what am I? I'm just not good at doing prompts like that. But I just thought I'd put it on here if anyone is interested to see that I actually did beat the challenge. You only get 100 points per opponent. And I know that there's other games that are like this that ramp up in difficulty when most of the game is chill. So I might as well talk about those games that I find aggravating. Stardew Valley is a very, very chill game. Most of the time you're just, the most difficult it might get is grinding, which, takes perseverance. If you want to make the villagers like you, it's very, to me that's very grindy. Like once you have what all the gifts like villagers like, at least the way I did it, because I don't have any setup. Maybe there's ways of, like, people make massive farms and they do put a lot of stuff into it. But as a casual player of Stardew Valley, going and meeting each of the villagers each day to try to get them all to like you and giving them something, and then doing that every day was just kind of boring and grindy to me. I mean, I guess it's a way to, like, I don't feel like they become a checklist to me then. They're not people, they become just checklists. So it's more boring than anything. But that was the difficult part. The difficult part to me is, and you know what, once you get them to like you, I like the little cutscenes that you can get from them. So then you actually are getting to know the characters. You get their little backstories, or however, that's why you're doing it. So you can get this, more information about each of the characters. But one of the things I had a problem with in Stardew Valley is that there's an arcade machine. If you played the game and you played the arcade machine, and maybe I'm just really bad at it, but I felt like the only way you could beat the game was if you got a certain amount of upgrades, and the only way you can get those upgrades is if you find a certain amount of coins, and the coins I felt like were just very luck based. Sometimes you'd get a lot of coins, and sometimes you get no coins, and I would be able to get the more high-powered gun, but most of the time I didn't have the high-powered gun because I'm not good at the game. The ghost, also I felt like sometimes I'd be shooting at the ghost and it wouldn't go shoot the way I wanted to. Maybe with the mouse and keyboard it's a lot easier, but I have the controller. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I've never played it on the computer. I've only played it on my PlayStation, and I felt like I would try to shoot them and I would just miss them. But I still haven't beaten that thing. You're supposed to get a trophy for getting to the end of it. There's one, I think, for beating it without getting hurt at all, and there's one for getting to the end of it in general. You know, you can get hurt, but you can get to the end. I think you have only 3 lives or 4 lives, but maybe you can get pickups to give you more lives. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I played it. But the rest of the game is chill, and then you suddenly have this challenge that to me was just impossible for me. I mean, I know people have beaten it. I couldn't. I played over and over again for days. I mean, I stay up till 7 in the morning, and I couldn't beat it. I gave up. Everything else, I have all the trophies for everything else in the game, except doing the JoJo Mart. I did the other route. I did the community center. And yeah, it was just, I couldn't do it. But see, we're at 1200 and it's starting to get more difficult for me, or did get more difficulty for me. So longer combos. Not sure if it has the same amount of time or the same time, but it seems like it's less time. But less time for each input. And what I had to do is I would have to look at the first 4 or 5 inputs and memorize those. And I tried to do it without memorizing anything. I tried to just do it as a react thing, but I'm just not very good at it. And so I would memorize the first 4 or 5, and then if I could do those quickly, then I could react to the rest of them. Because I can't remember all 7 of them when I'm in the middle of the fight. You know, if I paused it and wrote them down, maybe, but I was trying to get done as quickly as possible. But yeah, you can see the high score is 1600 at that point. That was what I had gotten into get the other trophy, which was to beat the high score. And I was like, I don't really need to do this because I have this trophy on my main PlayStation account. This is a side one that I use just for recording for YouTube. I was like, no, I want to show that I can do it. And even though this is after the fact, I'm glad that I went ahead and got it again. Because, you know, it's good to practice your skills. I actually played it to a certain point, gave up, went and took a nice, relaxing bath. Because my fingers were getting cramped. And I was doing even worse as time went on. And then I came back after that and played till about 1 in the morning. And you can tell, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not even sure if this video is something anyone would want to see, but it's just me playing it in the past and messing up a lot. I didn't even edit out when I messed up because I figured, well, you can see my struggle, I guess. And this guy, this is to break even. You have to get to 700. No, not break even. You have to get to 1700 to get the trophy for the second one. And when it gets there, I'll pause on it to show it, but... And I also didn't even realize when I did it at first that the bad guys, they're not bad guys, but the opponents, I guess they're bad guys. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't even realize that they had a health bar. I kept going, how do you know whenever you beat them, how many times do you have to hit them? And it wasn't until, I don't know why I didn't realize there was a health bar for them. I just never looked up there. I was always focused below, you know, at my moves. And finally realized, oh, there it is. There's a health bar up there for the opponent. But when I'm doing this, sometimes I would just freeze. My mind would just go blank. Like, oh, what? But perseverance, that's the thing with this kind of game. I mean, you have to have the skill to push the buttons, obviously, but I think also perseverance. If you keep trying, eventually, maybe your brain will go, all right, these are the buttons, and push them. So that's what happened. I eventually pushed the buttons. If I had to do it again, it would probably take me just as long to do it as the first time, because sometimes I feel like it's some skill, but the other time it's a little bit of luck that I happen to push the right button. I don't know. I'm not sure how to say that. It's it was skill, but I felt like I didn't learn anything from it. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's skill that I eventually got the buttons pushed. But you see, I mess up a lot. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be able to do it again. So I didn't learn anything from it. If I came back a day later, it would take me just as long, maybe not, maybe longer, maybe less, I don't know, but I didn't learn the patterns of it or anything. I didn't learn how to beat this fight in a way that is consistent. That one was really easy. Ones like that where there's a bunch of them the same, those are obviously much easier than a bunch that change. So this was the last opponent. And I didn't move sometimes because I just look at the pattern to see if I can remember what it was. So I'd say, all right, right, left. If I can do those quickly, then I'll have time to do the rest of them with the more reactionary style. But even then, I think what happened is I kept thinking that one of them was facing a different way than it was. So, and then he hit me. And that's the other thing is the save bar gets smaller each time, so. And then this was the last, I was like, oh, one more hit. I just have to get this one. So I have to go right down XXX, you know, I have to think of those and do those as quickly as possible. And then I can do the rest. And then he hit me again. So I was so close. And I was questioning myself, why am I doing this? You know, why don't I just, don't worry about it because I already have the trophy on my other account. And then I got it. And that is the trophy. I paused it that I got on my PlayStation after playing this fight so many times. I say it wasn't as many, I say I've never even beaten the thing in Stardew Valley, the arcade game there. I've tried over and over again for hours and hours. I'm just not good at it. And I just finally gave up. I mean, I might go back to it someday and try again. Very frustrating. But this one, I did beat. I got the playing games all day in no setting. Tut, tut, tut. So if anyone get to this point, thank you for watching. I now have the trophy again for the game Space Unbound. Say this is a side PlayStation account. But in the meantime, I'm going to get back to playing the main game. If you enjoyed it, please, let me put some music on. Please like and subscribe so that I can get to more subscribers. And until next time, thanks for watching. Take care and peace out.